Good day, traders. 1 minute mindset reset. Today we're talking about jack of all trades or master of none. So one of the things that I often share, and most traders that follow me know that I am biased to the short side. I love shorting. And the majority of my trades that I do take are either low-hanging fruit for the continuation trade or the pump and dumps after a daily high or weekly high is broken, and some of those are in broken down markets, again low-hanging fruit. Now the entries that I post will be using the 1 minute charts, but my criteria for all of my trade setups, aside from the first bounce being obviously a 1 minute entry, is that I'm using the same entry as I would on the 5 minute universal system or on a smaller time frame, because I'm just used to that. I've traded that for a long time, and as most traders now know that have been executing similar trades, I'm only looking to get a better fill once the high is locked in. The same criteria applies. And so just answering a few questions is this. Coming back to the community posts. Now those are for me to, it's easy for me to interact and answer as many questions as possible. I'm currently working through at least 100 emails backed up. So I apologize about the delay, but I'm trying to go through each one of those in a block at a time and get through as many of those and answer as many specific questions as possible. Now, coming back to today's topic, jack of all trades or master of none. Now, my specific strategy is geared around that 1 hour window in the New York session. And when I was in Perth, the same approach applied whether it was for Asia or or London. Now, as many of you know, depending on the instruments that you're trading, certain instruments may have a tendency to move more frequently or better in different sessions. For example, the pound or some of the pound crosses may move better in the London session. But we will still often have a 3-day, 3-level, or a day 3 breakout opportunity that will move after 3 sessions. And going back to the number one criteria in that playbook is that as long as there is no major red news on the calendar. If there is major red news, my next go-to setup based on the 15-minute setup is the first bounce or a first bar entry. Now the first bar entry again is the same entry, but it coincides after the news is released. So what that means, so there's been a lot of questions about the news. Once the news is released, for example, a news announcement that comes later or right after the New York Open, this is independent from the Fed, is that once that, if I get into the market before that news is released, for example, there was a news at 9:45 a.m. on Tuesday and in New York AM time, what that means is if I get in at 9:30, I could be in the right direction, but they could spike me. It could spike me, and the spread could be 50 pips in terms of my fill. So I could have a 25 pip fill. But when they pull the bids and offers or lift the offers out of the market during that time, what that means is my next best fill could be 50 or more pips away, or even away from my stop. And I've seen that happen. I've gotten filled back in days where I've gotten 60 or 70 pips fill on a 25 pip stop loss. So that's my whole purpose, is to not be in the market. It's not necessary to take that uncertain risk on. That's called gambling. So the minute that news candle is released, the majority of times there may be a little bit of volatility in that candle, but if the pattern completes on that news, so for example, we had 130 pips from low to high on gold heading into the New York Open. They took it back to the extreme. They locked in the high. It had made a triple top M pattern. They engulfed the high on the news candle itself. That's a first bar entry for me. And if I'm wrong, I've got a 1 bar stop that was less than 20 pips. So that is a trade setup I did not put in the playbook, because again, I have traders taking first bounce on every single major red news release, regardless if there's a setup or not, and then they get mad when they get stopped out. So it's a 15-minute setup. When I post a chart trade on the community tab in YouTube, so lots of traders are emailing me saying, where's the chat room? There is no chat room. I don't go into chat rooms and spend a lot of time chatting. When I'm on the screen, everything gets shut off. I shut everything down, and when I pick a chart, I have 1 or 2 charts open on my main page. Everything else gets shut off. So a few traders are getting their platforms freezing. So there's 2 things that you need to look at, or 3 things. Number one is that you have a computer that has enough CPU to drive whatever you've got open. Number 2, if you have multiple charts open with all kinds of indicators, even if you've only got 1 or 2 indicators, but it goes back 1,000 days, that could be using memory in your computer and slowing the feed down. I don't know. And the third thing is that if you are in a high volatility time and you've got Google open and music playing and you're in a chat room and you got 10 charts going and everything else, I have no idea what's going on with your computer. But you want to make sure when I am at the screen, I have nothing else on my computer, nothing else on that trading computer. I have my charts open. I go through all my charts. When I narrow it down to the 1 or 2, I have them open. And on those charts, I have 5 days of data in terms of separators, levels. I don't have very much on that chart itself, so that my speed of the chart itself is fast, so that it's not slow to, keep the price feed going and everything else. Because I want to have total focus and I want no interference with my computer or anything else. I'm not distracted by anything else. And this is another thing. When you're at the screen, why would you want to be chatting about stuff? Chatting about, like, 90% of people get things wrong. So why would you want to chat to them about stuff? You should be able to each day, and I talk about 1% better every single day. You should be able to find an improvement each and every day. If you took a trade today and you could have got a better fill, or you were maybe a little hesitant getting in, you didn't have your levels marked, or whatever that was, then figure out one little thing that makes it better tomorrow in terms of how you can execute better, or maybe how you could have been better prepared in terms of marking levels, or if you had the right instruments, maybe there was a better instrument. There's little things that each day you should be able to improve upon. And, again, coming back to, it's easy for me if I'm looking for shorting opportunities. I'm either looking for a market that's broken out, or is in some kind of setup where we've already showed evidence of them pumping back to a high, or pumping up off of a low. So we had a couple of low-hanging fruit trades that did not complete until the end of the 3-hour window. So that's the next thing to consider, is when you're at the screen, if you're looking at one instrument, and you need to be careful that you're not getting impatient by waiting, because impatience is when impulse happens. Impatience and lack of preparation or understanding that it's a 3-hour setup, you may be getting impatient and then impulsive. And impulsiveness can lead to frustration or distress. So again, these setups, I talk about mastering one. I focus on shorting opportunities, pump and dumps, broken down markets, highs and lows first hour, forms a rectangle in a broken down market. Oil today pumped up right at the beginning of the second hour. The 5-minute universal entry still would have gotten you in. It just wouldn't have gotten you in at the same fill. That's it. So when you see these 1-minute charts, and I know there's a couple traders that are frustrated. Oh, I didn't need, you would have never gotten that in the playbook and everything else. It's the same setup. So you have to have an actionable review process. Emotions, impulse, impatience, they don't fix anything. And, I sat in a corner many a night crying my eyes out from emotional, impulsive, irrational behavior. So this is the next thing. When I lock in 60, 75 pips and it's a Fed day, I'm getting out. I'm done. I'm not coming back later to see if I can get more. Do you know what that in the past, that has led to me taking crazy trades, just trying to get more, and ultimately losing everything, just because I thought I was smart and I could trade more and get more pips and be the smart guy. Okay, that's what blows up your account. You make a lot of money and then you get impulsive. You do everything right and then you get impulsive. So I have a very specific routine. I know what behavior produces the best results for me. So the playbook gives you the framework for the best trade setups, but you still have to manage yourself, and you have to determine which ones you need to master or which ones you resonate with best, and then go out and hunt them. Hunt them. That's it. And then when you get that trade and you execute, and maybe not perfectly, but you get the trade right, you get the profits, and you decide to scale up on the next one, get a little bit better, get a better fill, pay more attention, you recognize the setup, you recognize when you can add in, you recognize when this may need to be taken off now, or you recognize when you can hold on to this because you're at the high of the week and this could go to the low of the week. You learn from every single trade. Mastery is a journey of constant progress, but it's not just about the charts. It's not just about the charts. So jack of all trades or master of one. I am obsessed with, I love shorting. I love shorting. Now, there are certain long trades, like I can't deny them. I know when they're there, and that's rectangular parabolic day zero opportunities. They're massive opportunities. So I recognize when a market's in an up phase, and I'm not going to start trying to trying to short it. That's what, again, where in the past I've done damage. I've done a lot of damage in the past. I've done everything that you can imagine a trader can do wrong. And so when people get upset or get frustrated, you're talking to somebody who's walked that path and did it repeatedly. There's nothing you can tell me that makes me think you're a victim if you're doing things wrong, because I've done it all. But only I could fix that. Only I could fix that. And so when I walk away after I'm done, that's for specific reasons. It's in my account now. And tomorrow I can come back with a fresh set of eyes. I've gone to the gym already. I take my kids to sport. I got other responsibilities, other projects that I'm working on. And I don't come back to look at the Fed to see what it did or anything else. I'll see you later, because I don't care. The markets are always going to be there to lure you. They're going to be there to lure and entice you. And they're going to be there to, tease you. So you have to decide what you want to be. If you want to be a jack of all trades, no problem. As long as it's producing the results that you are after. If it's producing the results that you're after and you're getting those results, and it coincides with the lifestyle and the routine and how you want to trade, then by all means trade that. If it works for you, do it. If you're not getting the results that you're after, only you can change that. You're the one who clicks the mouse. If you want to master something, decide what that is. What is it? What setup do you want to master? What setup do you want to master? And then master it. And then keep mastering every single aspect that it will require in order for you to get the results that you're after. The screen time, the trade setups, the execution, the risk management, the profit taking, the review process are only one component of all of that. Managing yourself is just as important as the tactical aspects of the trade itself. So jack of all trades or master of one? That's the question I have for you. So hopefully that helps. Again, it's a journey of constant progress. It's a journey of constant progress. You will always be susceptible to making errors. And when you feel that coming on, if you know what your triggers are, if you feel compelled to trade or to do more, figure out how you're going to manage yourself, how you're going to handle losses, how you're going to handle your winners, how are you going to handle elation, how are you going to handle depression, frustration, pain, all of those things. Learn to master yourself, and that will help you master your trading. So hopefully that helps, traders. Have a great day. We're about to get a big ice storm here after a nice balmy week in Canada. And my hockey game got canceled because of the weather. I don't know. It's a different world now. It's only a bit of freezing rain. But anyways, 1% better every single day. Keep it going and keep it growing. How good can you get? And may the markets go with you.